I like to take my tags and put those on first. Right here. So I'm gonna cut this little extra tag off because I never seem to cover it, and it's really annoying. So I'm gonna just measure that, see where there's no hair at right here. I'm gonna just measure that right here. And I'm not the best at sewing down these tags, so y'all don't laugh at me, but it ain't gotta be all perfect because I ain't been sewing for years. But I'm gonna keep it on my zigzag stitch and I'm gonna go back and forth. Period. Bam. Bam, so pretty. It's so pretty. I can leave it like that, but I don't leave it like that. I'm gonna sew down this side too. I don't really do all the top around that. I just do this little side right here and that side. I think that's so cute to me. It's so cute. And an important thing about when you're sewing, you want to make sure everything is lying down flat. Very flat. Drop that presser footer. Make sure everything is flat. Not stretched, but flat. And when you begin, you want to start off slow. Start off slow. The harder you push your foot, the faster it's gonna go. So if I only press my foot a little bit, it's gonna go only a little bit. If I press my foot a lot, it's gonna go faster. So always be light-footed. I always try to be light-footed. And boop, there it is. Just like that. I hope this is a good angle for you guys. I do like to put the hair on the left side, although I am right-handed. I'm gonna just, the tip of this, like I said, I'm singling these wefts. So singling it is gonna make it much more easier. It's gonna lie flatter because they're singled. And so what I wanna do is just line it up to that edge right there, and I wanna slide it under my presser footer and drop my presser footer, okay? Drop my presser footer. I wanna make sure everything is flat. And now because this is like a cap, on the outside, when it's out like that, it's not flat. But when you turn it in, it's flat. I like to turn mine in when I'm sewing. That's a little trick that I picked up. And I don't want to stretch anything, but I want to make sure everything is flat, but I do not want to stretch anything. And I'm gonna gently, I like to take my shoe off. When I have sandals on, but I like to take my shoes off just so I can really get an actual feel of the foot of the sewing machine. So I'm gonna start real slow. 1 and 2. I'm a backspace. This button is reverse. It's gonna go reverse. And the main thing you have to know about a sewing machine is that you don't have to push or pull. It has teeth at the bottom, ridges like little waves, and it pushes it and pulls the material itself. You don't have to push or pull. When you push or pull, you're forcing it, so you're making it go faster than what it really wants to go. You understand? And that's how you have gaps and wrinkles, because you're forcing it. You just have to let it go. So I went back, so now I'm gonna go forward. See how it's moving itself? I'm not doing that. I'm not pushing it. I'm just making sure that this is flat. All I'm doing is making sure that this is flat on the line. That's it. On that line that I drew, I'm just making sure that that's flat. I want to go back because it was a little too high for me. All I'm doing is making sure it's flat. And I curve if I have to curve, but I'm just making sure it's flat. I'm making sure everything is flat. Going back, forward, and back, and forward, and back, and forward. I want to do that because I want it to be secure. When I cut that excess off, I don't want no hair to shed. This is a little knob over here, and you twist it, and that's what makes the needle go up and down. So if I stop and the needle's in the down position, I turn it away from me and it brings the needle up. Because my pressure footer lifted up. Then I can pull my hair out of here. I always make sure that I pull both my threads pretty far, because like I said, they will disappear on you. And then you have to continuously thread this top needle, and you don't want to have to do all that all the time. So that was that. That's easy. That's one down. That's one stitch down. Very much so easy, very much so simple. Very much so flat. Flat. Start the next one. And I'm not going to cut off all the excess thread until I'm done with the wig, and I can go back and look and get all of them. I like to work smarter, not harder. But I'm gonna line it up again with that line, and I'm gonna put it under the presser footer, put that presser footer down. And because I want it to lay flat, it's like I'm flipping it inside out, because that's how it lies flat for me. And I'm gonna go a couple rounds, 1, 2, 3, and go back, all the way back, forward, all the way back, forward, because I want to make sure that this beginning track right here, none of the hair comes off, because it was cut. And I'm not stretching it or nothing. I'm just making sure it's flat. There's no buckles underneath there. While it's being sewn down, I'm just making sure it's flat. I'm not really stretching it. I'm just making sure it's flat. Making sure this is flat. Stop in the open position. Come around, pull it out, pull both those threads. Cut to release those threads. Cut the excess on this side right here. Being careful not to cut into the hair, because you don't want to have a little gap of hair missing right there. But that second track is now flat. Flip that inside out. That second track is now flat. Now the guidelines are just guidelines, just to make sure I am straight. Sometimes you might not be on them all the way, but that's okay. As long as you're in the vicinity of the line, you following the curve of the line, it's okay. You want to make sure this thread is underneath the presser footer, in between it, underneath it at all times. Start again. Start with that, meeting that edge of that, press that under that presser footer, drop that presser footer. I'm gonna flip this in because that's how it lies flat for me. I hope you guys can see that. That's how it lies flat for me. And on that edge, lay that flat, and I'm gonna go a couple times forward and a couple times back. And then I'm gonna just let it go. Making sure I'm keeping it flat. My only job is to keep it flat. It's gonna sew itself, it's gonna move itself. My only job is to keep it flat and follow that line. That is my only job. See how it buckled right there? I just wanna make sure it's flat. See how it's a wrinkle right there? I just wanna make sure that's flat. I ain't stretching nothing, I ain't pulling nothing. I'm just making sure it's flat. It's literally moving itself back and forth. It's literally moving itself. It does all the work by itself. This thing can talk. It said, let me go, girl. I got it, girl. I got it. And I like this method. For some people, it may be a little bit more time consuming, but hey, I have all the time in the world for perfection. I'm trying to make sure that my product lasts and my clients love my product. So see how flat that is? That's very much so flat. When somebody put that in their head, that's thick already. And that's not no gaps. That's no gaps. Now sometimes I do gaps. I'm not trying to bash the gaps. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying that I like this method. And I want to show y'all this method. I want to show y'all how much easier it could be, how professional it could be, how you don't have to double your thread. You don't have to do that. This can look just like an install. This can look just like them factory made wigs. I hear a lot of people say they like the factory made wigs because their tracks are so close together, but the factory wigs are not custom, so they don't fit everyone's head. Sometimes they are way too big. You have too much gap in the back. So I said, okay, I'm gonna do it custom for you, but I'm gonna single them things. I don't like the wind blowing and I can see my gaps in my wig. I didn't like that. Drop that presser footer. And I'm gonna pick this up and I'm gonna curve this in because that's how it's flat for me. I don't know if everybody else, if they brain work like that, but I swear that's how it works for me. It just works. I promise. It works. You want to be gentle. You want to make sure that line is matching up. I don't want to mess that line up. I want to be somewhere I'm not. I'm going to always start a couple times. Now that that's secured and going nowhere, I can pick this up, lift this up, make sure this is flat. Making sure this is flat.